Hello and welcome to Let's Bake and Play, a video game review show combined with a cooking show. This week, Border Control Simulator Papers, Please, and a fruitcake by the name of Cut and Come Again, or as I like to call it for this, Cut and Don't Ever Come Back Again. Congratulations, by the way, for your new job as Arstotzka's new immigration inspector. To celebrate, I'll bake you a nice fruitcake that you can enjoy while on the job. To bake the wonderfully named Cut and Come Again cake, you are going to need a 15 centimeter round cake tin, 200 grams of self-raising flour, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of mixed spice, 100 grams of butter, 100 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of mixed dried fruit, 1 teaspoon of grated lemon or orange zest, 1 medium egg, plus enough milk to make up to 125 milliliters. To ensure that you can get your cake out of the tin after it has been baked, you are going to have to grease and line the cake tin with baking parchment or greaseproof paper. So first, draw around the tin on a baking sheet. Cut out the circle. Then cut out a strip of greaseproof paper larger than the height of the tin, making several cuts along it. Then grease the bottom and sides of the cake tin. Then stick the circular piece of greaseproof to the bottom of the tin. Then attach the long strip of greaseproof to the inside of the tin. Once you have done this, then grease the sides and the bottom again. Now your tin is ready. Speaking of getting ready, you should get familiar with your new job. Papers, Please has you in a little hut on the border between East and West Gresham, granting or denying entry to the country of Arstotzka, a fictional Soviet bloc country in 1982. You'll have to look at their various passports and papers, making sure that all the information is correct, and then stamping accept or deny. Every successful accept gives you 5 Arstotzkan dollars with which you can feed your family, pay the rent, heating, and any medicine you might need. That's it. A neat little immigration simulator. Except that this sim has you playing with 5 different gunmen watching over you with itchy trigger fingers. Make no mistake, any errors you make, and any of them will make you regret it. Well, while you're carefully double checking those papers again, let's get to making the batter. Sieve together the flour, salt, and mixed spice, and then mix together. Cut the butter up into smaller pieces, and then add to the rest of the flour. Now rub together the butter and flour between your fingertips until the mixture resembles fine breadcrumbs. Then add in the sugar and the lemon or orange zest, dried fruit, mix all of that together. Then make a well in the center, beat the egg with the milk, and then pour in. Mix well. Then pour or spoon it into a tin, and then level it so that the whole cake bakes evenly. Then bake for 1¼ hours at 180 degrees C, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas mark 4. Speaking of time, best keep watching the clock at the border, for time is the first of your enemies. Time is the first and most deadly of the gunmen watching your every move, waiting for a mistake. Every day lasts precious few hours, and you'll need to clear as many people as you can so you can get as much money as you require to feed and clothe your family. Every second you spend dithering is time killing your family. On the other hand, rush and you'll forget a detail and receive notice leading to fines, another $5 snatched from your family. Time is your precious currency and it slips through your fingers. The next gunman is the shifting rules. Every day, new criteria will be introduced, adding paper and new things to check. Now foreigners need a day ticket, then a work pass, then all nationals need an ID card. Now the list of things to check and correlate have grown, adding more time to each person in the queue, and less money for your family. Watching each person leave and hoping that you don't hear the clatter of infraction is like hoping the next chamber of the gun is empty. The next marksman is the shiftiest, the curse of similarity and familiarity. All the documents have various marks and information, and they all look deceptively similar at a glance. Does that visa have a shield and a round version? But did it also have words underneath it, or was that the other one? There are 5 different dates to check, never mind trying to remember whether this particular city is a issuing city for this nation, or did it belong to another country. Double checking is going to help, but it's another hole in your gradually sinking boat. Another of the marksmen is just getting right up in your face is space, or more accurately, the lack thereof. Every document you check has to be dragged onto your tiny little desk, which is fine when you have just a passport, but with 5 or more bits of paper, including the book you need to check for rules infractions, plus all the adverts for local strippers, to other business cards, to other knickknacks that the various customers keep passing through your tiny slot, you're shifting through papers like a homeless man digging through bins. Cover up the wrong bit of info when you're trying to find a discrepancy and you have to rearrange your papers, and that time spent moving it around to try again is a thin slice of your already thin amount of time left. Now all of these things could be endured, but it's the last guy in the room who's the worst, the chatty one. It's the people in the queue. All these people are here to make your life difficult, from forgetting papers, to making forgeries, to begging and pleading and bribery. Every time someone asks you to help them and please let them across the border, and you detain them, you'll hate yourself, and you'll hate them. You can't afford to be kind and generous. Your family needs the money, but every person dragged away is another chip in your already dwindling sympathy for humanity. You'll need them, and you'll hate them. If they just remember to bring everything you needed, then you wouldn't have to keep turning them away. Why didn't you bring your ID? Why are you making this so difficult for me? Now while you slump back home to your Class 8 dwelling, let's get the cake ready. At the end of the cooking time, take the cake out of the oven. Insert a skewer or a cocktail stick into the center of the cake. If cake mixture sticks to it, return the cake to the oven. Once the skewer comes out clean, put the tin on a wire rack, wait for the cake to cool, and then pop the cake out of the tin. And enjoy. It may sound like I've described some hellish game which you should avoid at all costs, but this game is not selling you fun, but an experience. You have been put in an awkward position. Your bosses are terrible, but you need the cash. Every petition for mercy you refuse is another wound you must bear. All the requests add more demands on an already overloaded position. You'll feel sympathy and understanding for those that work for unpleasant people. You wish you didn't have to be so cruel, but it's this or the breadline. To see what playing Papers, Please feels like, imagine you're trying to divide your wonderful new cake between everybody you know. The line is long and you're worried the cake deprived will riot, so best dish it out quickly. You've got a blunt knife that's broke, paper plates that seem to have buried themselves under all your work, and you're running out of time. You carefully cut the cake and place it on a paper plate, only for your supposed friend to say, "Oh, I don't want any currants," handing it back. You'll smile, fish them out, hand it back, only for him to say, "Oh, I meant raisins." You'll grumble, repeat the process, trying to remember the difference between currants, raisins, and sultanas. Handing it back, he moves on, you begin to work on the next, only to hear muttered from the kitchen, "There's a sultanas, I can't eat these." All you want to do is stop and take the cake, rather than being worn out like this. Luckily for you, you don't work at the Grecian border. So, grab a cup of tea, hug a warm kitten, and recover from the experience that is Papers, Please. Glory to Ashtotka! And goodbye.